Alex Tui and Will Richard. If Mike Dunleavy and the Golden State Warriors are right, those two names will be NBA players over the next few seasons. And whilst with most teams, picking in the 50s can be a waste of time, I think we've seen over the last few years that there is always a chance for a gem to be picked. And if there's a chance for a gem to be picked, the Warriors are one of those teams with the best chance of finding that gem. And with the way Alex Tui and Will Richard play, they might just be the perfect fits for the Golden State Warriors. And after entering the draft with the 41st pick, Mike Dunleavy did something that some people might not have liked. Instead of potentially going for a higher ranked prospect in the early 40s, he decided that the Warriors could get the best of both worlds. Still get their guy at 52, who was Alex Tui, but then also get another guy a few picks later.
You know, we value both of them, and the thought behind getting 2 picks in this draft later on was to get both players.
And obviously time will tell, but if Dunleavy is correct with his assessment, then this is a stroke of genius. I mean, giving up a pick that you would have selected on a player to get another pick for the price of nothing, effectively, if that was the kind of player you were already going to select, it just makes all that much sense. And Alex Tui, whilst not being a household name after playing in the NBL, he is someone that some people had higher on their boards than 52. Some people saw as an early to mid-second round pick. And if you want to know why, it's because he can do a little bit of everything. He's not the most athletic player, he's not the best scorer or defender or passer. I'm not exactly selling you, but he's good at a number of things. Defensively, he can guard on the perimeter, he can switch onto bigger wings using his frame, he's 6'8" with some strength, and then offensively, he's just a Warriors player. There is no other way to put it aside from he is a Warriors player. Think of someone who knows when to cut and where to be on the floor. Think of someone who can make those connective passing plays. Think of someone that hopefully can be a solid spot-up shooter. Someone who can finish off plays as a play finisher. You are not bringing in Alex Tui to be a potential NBA star. You are bringing him in to be a potential NBA role player. And sometimes people get a little concerned when you hear that word, but in the 50s, if you can get an NBA role player, that is an absolute steal. And when you're playing for the Warriors, when you are playing alongside Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, I think we have seen your job is significantly easier. It is not about doing all of the extra things, it is about doing all of the little things, and playing alongside Steph Curry and now Jimmy Butler, you will get fed. Trust me, we saw the improvements of Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody, Guy Santos, we have seen GP2, we have seen countless players thrive playing alongside Steph Curry's gravity, and now the addition of Jimmy Butler just adds to that. And I just mentioned him there, but a reason you should be optimistic in the Warriors getting someone in the 50s is because they have a history of doing it. Think about Guy Santos, who just played significant minutes last year in the regular season and even got some burn in the playoffs. He was a late second round pick. Or how about last year, Quinton Post, another player who immediately made an impact, and he was a bit of an outlier at his size with his shooting ability, but again, it's that one key detail. The Warriors are looking for players that fit alongside Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. They are looking for guys with both talent, but more importantly, guys that can fit their system. Think about Gary Payton II. It is about maximizing what these guys can do within the system, and I think Alex Tui is one of those guys that perfectly fits what the Warriors are trying to do.
Yeah, I think he's like a forward. You know, and I think with our system and the way we play, with, you know, he has the versatility to play multiple positions. It's who can you guard and where you can play offensively. And we think, especially on the defensive end, he's super versatile.
And if you want to see just an example of what he can do, look at him here get the rebound. He signals as though he's looking for the handoff, but then watch him put his head down. And how about the high-legged Euro step before reversing it off the glass? Or how about this time where he picks someone's pocket, and again in transition, it's that high hard Euro step before using his size to finish through the shot blocker. Like I said, he's not the most athletic player, and maybe his highlight tape won't jump off the screen, but he is consistently in control. He knows how to use his 6'8" frame, and when you are that big, you don't need to be the most explosive player. He can handle the ball, he can take advantage of advantages created, he can be a menace in transition, and most importantly, he defends. Like I said, he is switchable, he is willing to get out on the perimeter and guard guards, he is willing to bang in the post with bigger players, match up against forwards. You are looking at a jack of all trades, and I don't think it's a stretch to say he's pretty similar to a guy like Guy Santos, but I think he might have a little bit more upside as a playmaker and as an off-the-dribble creator. The one question mark is, can his shooting be good enough to consistently demand attention from the three-point line? He shot 30% in the NBL last season. That is going to need to be 35 to 36% for him to stay in the NBA. And if it does get to that level, I'm pretty confident with the rest of his skill set that he'll be an NBA player at some point in time. And you just heard what I said. Some point in time. Yes, you don't need to panic. Mike Dunleavy is aware these guys aren't the solution. He's optimistic they could play, but he's not expecting them to play straight away. And it won't change the Warriors' approach in free agency. And I'm not going to come on here and say these two guys are going to play right away, because that's just unrealistic for guys being selected in the 50s. I mean, Moses Moody was drafted in the lottery and took him years to break into the team. But they have the skill set. Alex Tui played in a pro league. Will Richard just won a championship with Florida and spent several years in college honing his game and becoming a developed prospect. It wouldn't be shocking if those guys can be NBA rotation players as soon as next year, but just don't expect it. These are two guys that you are hoping can make an impact at some point over the next 2 or 3 seasons, and in the 50s, that is all you can ask for. And then there's Will Richard, who I've mentioned briefly, but he's a little bit similar to Tui in the sense he might not have one standout skill, but he does a lot of things really well. He's a hard-nosed defender, he makes timely cuts, he's got some passing chops, he's by no means a point guard, he can make some plays off the bounce or make those extra passes, say if Steph draws 2 defenders, he could be the kind of guy to make that next pass to an open shooter. He knocked down over 35% of his threes, he obviously contributed to winning, helping them win a national championship. Walter Clayton Jr. was the star of the show, but Will Richard was a guy that was consistently in the right spot, making the right plays on a team that won. And don't just take it from me, take it from his head coach, who said this: "The kid is an incredible light bulb, an incredible human being. We're like, if we can get 13 Will Richards on this roster, we're going to make the Final Four." If that's not the kind of quote you hear about guys that Steve Kerr likes to play, then I don't know what is.
Just does a lot of things, and we tend to feel like players that can do a lot of things in this league on both ends of the ball end up being successful.
And I'm excited to see, hopefully, them getting some minutes over the course of the next season or 2.